Hey there, piano teachers. Question for you. Do you want to have smoother methods of teaching the most difficult concepts in piano? You know those concepts that you're like, oh gosh, this is coming up next. I hope the student understands it. Do you want to inspire your students to practice willingly? Do you need to speak and teach in ways that balance constructive criticism with excellent support? Is that something that's a little hard sometimes? So have those things happened for you yet? Maybe not yet. So maybe you've tried to find solutions, but it's like hard to get through what actually works and what works for an amazing teacher like you, because all of us are different, right? What's going to work for you? So when you watch this video, you're going to discover exactly how to be the best piano teacher that exists. I know, huge goal, but hear me out. There's a lot here that you're going to be able to use. So my name is Karen, or Kay for short, and I am the owner and founder of Music Room and Uplevel You Music, and I am the creator of this course, Conquering the 12 Biggest and Most Challenging Issues in Piano Pedagogy. All right, so we have found those issues and found all the solutions for you to use in your piano studio. Or if you're a school teacher and you teach class piano, this is perfect for you also. It'll work in either situation. So I want to tell you a story. This happened kind of a long time ago because I've been doing this a while. So when I started teaching piano, I had a big struggle with tone, how to speak to my students, let them know about mistakes, teach them things, criticize for lack of a better word, and how to pick on my students' mistakes without sounding harsh or letting too much slide. That was hard for me. And I was getting more and more worried that I wasn't cutting it and that their most important issues were starting to fall between the cracks. You see, at the time, I was trying to be the adult and the teacher for students that actually weren't that much younger than me. But then something bad happened, and I realized that I had some serious shortcomings as a pianist also. I hadn't yet gone to college yet. I started as a high schooler. I was 15. I've been teaching a long time. And the bottom fell out from under me when I realized that those shortcomings were holding me back from knowing how to explain certain things to my students. And I couldn't keep with my status quo. I had to take drastic measures to improve my own discipline as a pianist so that I knew the prompts to instruct properly. As you can imagine, I was kind of in a little bit of bad shape, kind of desperate, but of course I wasn't ready to give up. This was going to be my career, and I wanted to be the teacher that helps keep their students engaged and excited about piano for like several years. That's what I wanted. The problem was I didn't know how to be the best piano teacher that exists, and I couldn't teach every difficult concept flawlessly so that no student struggles with it. So that's when I had my big moment where I decided I was going to make a change. So first I tried adding some of the concepts that I learned in college. I don't really think too much changed, even though I did take a piano pedagogy class. I felt like I knew a lot of that stuff already. I needed to delve in deeper. I tried also reading some traditional piano pedagogy books. That was not that fun. I didn't get much out of that. Then I tried focusing on a handful of breakthroughs along my path of development as a pianist in my piano journey. The things I learned from, not just my best teachers, but all my teachers. The best things from all my teachers and professors. And that's when things started to get a little bit better. Then I started to keep track of my best practices in my own instruction. What works? What did I say that got that student to pick that up immediately? What seemed like a really efficient way of explaining something? What's the way of explaining something where I didn't leave something out? How did the student get that so soon? I didn't expect that. What did I say? How did I help them? So I started keeping track of all those things and then making sure that I use them time and time and time again for different people that found those new concepts, refining my language, refining my prompts, until no one struggled anymore. I don't have any pianists that struggle. They struggle sometimes to find time to practice. They're busy people too. Most of the time they're musicians in other areas, but that's it. There's nothing else they struggle on. They don't struggle on concepts anymore, or reading, or technique, or any of that. It's incredible. It took a long time to get here, and it doesn't have to be that way for you. So that's when I realized none of this was really actually my fault. I was failing because single strategies in piano pedagogy that claimed to be the be-all, end-all could not be the only thing. No wonder I was struggling all those years. So, I guess a lot of times when I was instructed on how to teach something, I was led to believe that there was only one right way, and when really there could be two or three sometimes to teach. And by teaching those few ways all at once, right in the beginning, you frame a student's mind to have all the information and then to be able to use it effectively. So I was able to break through the chains of this mindset thing and get the results that the students really deserve out of me as the teacher. So the real problem are single strategies that claim to be the be-all, end-all. Those are the ones that were holding me back. So once I realized that balancing my own personality with the most foolproof methods were making things a lot more effortless for students, that's when I started to understand what it looks like to maybe be one of the best piano teachers. Could it be? I don't know. And I don't really care either. What matters to me is that my students are going to go and do awesome things and play hard music and love piano and stay with me until they graduate, which is starting to happen more and more often now. It's amazing. So I used what I discovered to be able to teach any concept to students to keep them always moving forward, implement some basic psychology into my own expectations of pacing, help students understand themselves as learners, to give them a sense of patience and progress rather than perfection all the time, which is often how they're brought up to of what to expect in a learning environment. At school, get that 100% on that test. At home, not make mistakes, don't forget stuff, get your chores done, do your responsibilities. In my studio, it's not exactly like that. It's a little different. So I also didn't realize that not only does it start to simplify the process, but it also helps everything go smoother in every single lesson, even when you teach the most difficult concepts. You also inspire your students to practice willingly. They want to, and speak and teach in ways that balance that constructive criticism and that excellent rapport. So I took all of this, and that's why I created Conquering the Most 12 Difficult Concepts in Piano Pedagogy. So this took definitely over 20 years to create. I didn't know I was creating it in those first 19. And it probably cost me some errors along the way. I did all the trial and error for you, but it was totally worth it. It makes getting past my own pressures on myself as a teacher so much easier. And what used to take me sometimes twice as long to teach difficult concepts to the student, I now get it done in 1 or 2 lessons. Maybe not even that, half a lesson. So, in fact, here's just a sample of what you'll get out of this whole process. So learn to get in touch with your tone and conversational or instructional manner and verbiage that you use with your students so that you can earn their trust and respect as a teacher faster, so that they want to practice for you, that they see the value, that they feel that value, and are honest with you when they don't practice too. Because it's not that great when a student's yeah, I practiced 3 times during the week. And you're this is worse than the last lesson. Understand the top 12 challenging concepts in piano instruction and learn the pitfalls and how not to teach them so that you can avoid instruction and prompts that could confuse your students. Learn the best practices for teaching the most difficult concepts to your students so you can increase the pace for completion of method book pieces and also other repertoire, especially past method books. Acquire instructional strategies for physical playing techniques so that you can establish proper playing routines faster and without regression. By regression, I mean oh, you were playing like this, oh, now you're playing like this. Unlock some fun ways to teach technical exercises so that they'll excitedly request to play scales first during lessons so you can enjoy watching students have fun with things that students usually hate. Yeah, that's real. I have students that walk into their lessons. Can we start with scales today? And they're not like being smart about it. They're like actually genuinely asking to play scales first. Like, no lie, that happened to me like 2 days ago, okay? So it's pretty incredible. But don't just take my word for it. Take a look at this. So during the last few decades, I've basically turned my studio into kind of an unofficial lab setting. So I test techniques and prompts and adjust and fine-tune those exact verbal things that I say in concise, not wordy, not trying to figure out my words, but like, boom, this is what it is. Try this, do it this way, and it'll save you a lot more time. So I use those things and repeat them over and over for each student that needs them in a simple, concise, efficient, without much confusion or frustration, and not really much reteaching either. These secrets are now being handed to you for your instruction. So, but before you get started, let me ask you a question. Would you like access to tackling the 12 most difficult concepts in piano pedagogy? Do you want to conquer those too? For less than $160, you can get access to everything inside this entire online course. And it's amazing. I can't wait to see you get started. Now, while it would be impossible to show you all the benefits of this entire course, I want to show you some of the things that you'll experience as soon as you're on the inside. You're going to see 13 modules of self-study video programming, and it totals actually quite a few hours, so you're getting a lot out of it. And all of those 12 challenging issues are picked apart to first expose the instructional pitfalls, what not to do. Hey, watch out for this, before we get into, okay, this is how we really should present it. The best practices for instruction, all these issues taught directly to you, sometimes as exactly the words I would say to a student. I lapse into that constantly just so that you can see and, well, not just listen, but actually see how it is I'm coming across. Because, the last thing we want to do is angrily bark orders at our students. It's the quickest way to turn them off to you. So you get to see that, maybe I'm criticizing something, but I'm smiling. You can see the expression and you can hear the tone in my voice besides just the words. You get all of that so that you can model that and use that for your students. The strategies for all the important concepts, from hand position to post-method book repertoire. Also, there's some bonuses that are coming with this too, besides just those basics. The tried and true supplemental materials that you may print and give to your students, a $267 value. There's a whole bunch of them. Private group of other teachers like yourself to discuss the strategies, and it's moderated by me. So picture it like a Facebook group, but just for people taking this course. It's a $77 value. The best ways to inspire and amp up practicing in your students. That's a $59 value just for that one concept. The total value of all this is $403, and that's even before the regular coursework. So, why? Because it doesn't even include the core instruction, see? So if all of this was to show you how to be the teacher that keeps their students for several years, would it all be worth it? The extra income and retention, because your students are really getting a lot learning from you. They aren't switching from you to go to and check out other teachers. They're staying with you because you're doing it the best. Is all that extra income and retention worth it? How about the extra income when a student tells a friend, or the parent is so impressed with their child's learning ability that they go and tell their friends about, you as an instructor for their kids, and you get more students just out of referrals? Is that worth it to you? Of course it would be. Want some even better news? I'm not going to charge you $403. I'm not going to charge you more than $403. I'm actually only charging you $157. Now, how's that for a deal? So I'm going to take on all that risk. If tackling the 12 most difficult concepts in piano pedagogy isn't showing you exactly how to have smoother methods of teaching the most difficult concepts in piano, and if it isn't taking you by the hand step by step to inspire your students to practice willingly, or it fails to help you speak and teach in ways that balance constructive criticism and excellent rapport, then yeah, we're going to get to the bottom of this, and I'll work with you to make sure that you end up getting what you need, especially for that one tricky student that maybe there's something else going on and you just need to break through. We'll work on it together. That's a guarantee. So you need to act now, though, because these students that you think may quit soon actually might, unless something changes in your interactions together. Students might mention to their parents maybe they aren't getting what they want out of lessons with you. Do you know if that's going on behind the scenes? Probably not. During a lesson, you might accidentally say something that really pains a student to hear, and you may not even realize it. So we're going to examine what that may or may not look like. And, you can't risk having those things happen. You don't want to be losing students for those reasons. My goodness. So just imagine what that life would be like to know that you are the best piano teacher around. That there's nobody that can even touch you, and that you're the best of the best. Would you want that? So click the join button below right now, and you'll be taken to the secure order form. And after you put in your credit card information, you'll be taken to a secure members area where you can access tackling the 12 most difficult concepts in piano pedagogy, even if it's like 3:30 a.m. and you're awake and worried. For those of you already signing up right now, this is what's going to happen next. You're going to be prompted to create an account with Uplevel U Music, or maybe you already have one and then you just need to log in. And you'll be taken to the secure checkout page. And then, after your payment information goes through, you will have immediate access to the course material right away. So, let's be blunt. If you pass on this offer, are you going to succeed with studio or class piano pedagogy? You'll probably stay the same. Or, if there's things that you're struggling with, you may just keep struggling and never finding out how to be better, to struggle less, to be the best piano teacher around. I'm sure you want those things. So most of what you need is instruction and encouragement from somebody who has successfully been there and done that with studio or class piano pedagogy. So get this online course now, right now, and get the studio or class piano pedagogy success that you know you want. You know what it looks like. Let's go after it. So as a reminder, here's what you're going to get with tackling the most 12 difficult concepts in piano pedagogy. You're going to get 13 video modules of self-study and self-paced instruction, all 12 challenging issues picked apart to expose the instructional pitfalls, and then the best practices for instruction of all these issues taught right to you, strategies for all the important concepts, from hand position to post-method book repertoire, tried and true supplemental materials that you can print and give to your students, private group of other teachers like yourself to discuss the strategies, moderated by me, so that if you've got questions, I'm going to be able to answer them, the best ways to amp up the practicing in your students, to inspire them to want to practice more. Oh, and another bonus too. This course is considered live, and you'll have the opportunity to give me user feedback, and through the group or in a feedback form at the end. So I look at those carefully, and if it looks like that, your questions, concerns, or things that you think are missing, if that's looking like, ooh, wow, this is important enough that we should have some bonus material on it, I will actually figure that out, put that all together, and add it as bonus materials into the course. And then anybody who's ever taken the course, whether it was last week or 2 years ago, you'll actually get an email update so that you know that there's new stuff in there that you shouldn't miss. And then you won't miss it because you'll get a notification about it. So even after the fact, you may end up getting even more value. So, never before has such a unique opportunity existed to have somebody like me take you by the hand and help you be the absolute best piano teacher ever. Act now so that you can have smoother methods of teaching the most difficult concepts in piano, inspire your students to practice willingly, and speak and teach in ways that balance constructive criticism with excellent rapport, just like I have been. This entire course offer could be sold for $403, $803. It could be a lot more, but the introductory price is $157. So definitely before things change with that, get it now, act fast. Don't let another day go by before you decide to take this on and start completely flipping the tide and changing the way you teach so that it is perfect for your students, and that you get the best responses out of them and that they get the best instruction out of you. Don't wait. I will see you there. I'm excited for you.